and the best, and you've got the best. The funniest man in the world, the greatest truth teller ever known. Give it up for the one, the only, Jake the Away. Oh. Whee! Woo, we're back. We're back in business, y'all. We're back in business. Oh, yeah. We're back. All right. Good times. Good times. Boom, boom, bang, bang. All right. How you guys doing? Welcome back to another edition of Truther Tuesday. I am your host, Jake the Awake. There we go. Welcome one, welcome all. We took last week off. Thought I'd give everyone a slight break to catch up on my live streams you might have missed or any videos you might have missed. So hopefully you guys took the time to catch up on some stuff or do whatever the heck you needed to do. But we are back in business tonight. We got a super chat that came in before the show even kicked off. And it's a guy who I often will miss his super chats. So tonight, I'm not missing his super chat. Shady Davy D. LaFleur said, back with another installment of Truther Tuesday, live on the number one Truther source, Jake the Awake. Hell yeah, Davy. Glad to see you tonight, man. You're here early and showing love with super chats. Gotta love it, man. Starting the show off just right. Gonna have a good one tonight. Nothing too crazy going on in the world, but I thought I would point something out because I was noticing that these shitty hack comedians who I was talking about just recently, I was talking about how hack comedians like Theo Von Fawn are not funny at all. And then it just so happens he recently did a Netflix comedy special where he bombed, and his name is all over these headlines for bombing. So we're going to get into that tonight. We're going to talk a lot about how comedy has basically died, and this is one of the last places where real comedy lives. All right. Who else do we got here in the house tonight? Got a new member, Raw Onions, 7848. Just became a new member. All right. Let me pull up my watch page and we're going to get this party started. All right. All right. Make sure I got caught up on the super chats and whatnot, and we're good to go. Okay. Hi, Sunflower. I see Sunflower in the chat too. She says, hello, Jake and everybody. You guys know it's been a couple weeks since I've done a stream, like 10 days. So I'm thinking that tonight might be a good night for, you know, one of these little things that we like to do. Was it? we're back. Whew. Had to do a little physical comedy. Show you guys who's the best was-upper in the entire damn world. That's right. I hold the Guinness Book of World Records record for doing the best was-up. Now, they ain't put me on their official list, but we know that I do hold that record, right? Like, I am the Guinness Book champion of doing the was-up, and I'm also the greatest beatboxer who ever lived, whether I'm in their little fucking book or on their website or not, okay? All of a sudden, Ralph wants to play. He keeps bringing me all his different toys now. See? Now he's all wanting to play and shit. And I just started the stream. Ralph, you're going to have to wait. We'll have to play afterwards. Kevin Arnold with a donation says, "What's up, Jakespeare?" Jakespeare. Different. No one's ever called me Jakespeare. Thank you very much, Kevin Arnold from the Wonder Years. Yes, the Kevin Arnold from the Wonder Years. What would you do if Kevin Arnold sent me a super chat and he asked if I was Jakespeare? All right. Holy cow. Sunflower getting us started with a very generous donation. Whoa. Sunflower, you are such a sweetheart. Holy cow, monkey. We are starting this stream off right tonight. Jeez. You know what's funny, Sunflower, is there's this guy who is a professional online bully. He's a professional cyber bully. And he gets mad when I get super chats. It really makes him angry. And he saw on my last stream when you sent a donation, and he's like, I can't believe this person in Canada just sent him a donation. They're so stupid. I can't believe people are sending this guy money. So you actually made a professional online bully get really angry because you sent me money. Swear to God. Yeah. Oh. Sanity machine, just in case anybody's wondering. All right. You are such a sweetheart. Awesome. Hell yeah. Gonna be a good one tonight. Raw onions coming in with a funny little joke here. Just gave Jake a boner. All right. All right. Stop, Ralph. Stop. I'll play with you afterwards. Stop. All right. So, there's not a lot going on in the world as far as world stage news. I noticed there's some shill channels out there still trying to milk the Kirk shit. Any channels you see still milking the Charlie shit, they're just shills. Or they're just trying to get them shekels off of his name by pushing a bunch of bullshit conspiracy theory bait. Talking a bunch of nonsense, leading you in circles. Have you guys seen that channel still talking about the Kirk shit? Oh, there was a camera gun and a palm gun and his microphone exploded. Oh, and there was a hologram shooter. All right. Any channels you see doing that, shill channels. Oh, and then the News is Fake 4, the channel that I have promoted numerous times, he put out a video showing evidence that that whole thing was, staged, and they took down his video, gave him a strike. So this goes to show you I was right. If I would have made a video about that Charlie thing and put a bunch of evidence together, proving that it was, theater, a theatrical performance, they would have ended up giving me a strike most likely for that shit. See? So it looks like I avoided what I figured would be my video getting removed. So the videos out there where people are pushing theories conspiracy theory bait. All those videos are totally cool to get hundreds of thousands of views, right? Or even millions of views. But one guy out there who like makes a video about the whole thing being a theatrical performance, oh, they take that video down. See? Yes, the news is fake 4. See, I showed the video in question, right? I think it was my last, I think it was maybe 2 streams ago, maybe 3 streams ago. Anyway, I showed it, but it got whacked on his channel. Joseph says, I pointed out how Kirk was talking about a specific public execution that happened on September 10th. Guy named Tyler brought it up. It was episode 33. Yeah, I just heard about that recently. So all this sort of stuff is coming out well after the fact. And it just lends more proof to the fact that it was a theatrical performance. So that's as much as I want to talk about that tonight, right? Because I personally am sick of it. I'd mainly wanted to point out that any channels you see still pushing like conspiracy theory bait, those are most definitely shills. Any regular person would be sick of it by now and ready to move on, like me, right? Bad news is there isn't anything super exciting going on the world stage right now. We had a peace agreement with Hamas and Israel. I personally could give a shit less. We could watch a few minutes about that, but personally, put me to sleep type shit. We got a speech from Trump. We'll just watch a little bit. I ain't going to watch the whole damn thing.
Baby, please stand up.
All right, so well, obviously we see the flag in the background.
It's not easy, I want to tell you. He's not the easiest guy to deal with, but that's what makes him great. That's what makes him great.
Why is that worth clapping for? He's not easy, but that's what makes him great. That's what makes him great. Oh! Oh! We love you! That was such a brilliant statement! Oh! Right? Like why would anyone clap for that?
Thank you very much, baby. Great job. And let me also convey my tremendous appreciation for all of the nations of the Arab and Muslim world that came together to press Hamas to set the hostages free and to send them home. We had a lot of help. We had a lot of help from a lot of people that you wouldn't suspect, and I want to thank them very much for that. It's an incredible triumph for Israel and the world to have all of these nations working together as partners in peace.
It's a wonderful achievement for Israel. This is one of the greatest things that we have done collectively. There was a lot of help, mostly from me, mostly from Trumptricity. In fact, the entire peace deal, it was powered by Trumptricity. Yeah, the facts are going to come out very soon that Trumptricity is far superior than regular electricity. Leaner, greener, meaner, cleaner. We're going to make billions and billions of dollars when I install Trumptricity in all your lovely homes. We're going to be saving billions and billions and billions and billions and billions and billions in China and billions in China and China and billions. Whoop, sorry. Got carried away there. I was like, what am I doing? Oh, yeah, watching this.
And it's pretty unusual for you to see that, but it happened in this case. This was a very unusual point in time, a brilliant point in time. Generations from now, this will be remembered as the moment that everything began to change, and change very much for the better. Like the USA right now, it will be the golden age of Israel and the golden age of the Middle East. It's going to work together.
Yeah, whenever stuff happens outside the United States, like the Middle East or Israel or wherever, I could just give a flying fuck less. I don't know about you. I'm not trying to be insensitive, or maybe I am trying to be insensitive, but like, seriously, like, I just don't give a flying fuck. Now, I know that they lie about everything, but when it comes to certain subjects, the reason why I don't make videos about it and instead choose to like make a top 10 most scripted NFL plays video is because this just bores the living goddamn motherfucking titty sucking shit out of me. Seriously, I had to think of some funny way to cuss right there just to make this whole goddamn segment interesting. I mean, come on. This is fucking boring. This would put anybody to sleep. Fuck, I am a world-renowned impressionist, and here I have Trump in front of me, and I don't even want to hear a goddamn fucking thing that he has to say, because I know it's just going to be some boring bullshit about some shit that I don't even fucking care about.
I'd like to thank several great American patriots for their invaluable help in getting something done that almost everyone thought was absolutely impossible. We were wasting our time. So many people said, "You're just wasting your time."
Boring. I'm wasting my time right now. Watching this is a waste of my time. Is this AI Trump? Is this a doppelganger Trump? This Trump seems a little younger looking than some of the other Trumps we've been looking at. This doesn't look like old Grandpa Trump who wears the blue tie. Perhaps the one that wears the red tie is the more younger, peppier Donald Trump. It's tough to say. But right now, I don't know about you, but feeling a little sleepy. Feeling like I might need to take a nap real soon.
But we weren't, because we had talented people working with us, and we had people that love your country, and frankly, people that love the region. They love the Middle East. I want to thank my friend Steve Witkoff.
We're working with lovely people. We're in the Middle East. I want to thank my friend Steve. Ah! Wow, Steve got a hell of a reception. Everybody must fucking love this guy, Steve. Woo! We love Steve. We love Steve. We love Steve. Go Steve! Fuck. Did they add some crowd cheer effect there, or is it just me? Seems a bit much for Steve. Yeah, that sounds like some looped fucking clapter to me. I'll bet you there's like 10 people in the room clapping, and then the rest is just some fucking clapping sound effect. Ain't no way that's real. All right. See, they'll even fake the amount of fucking applause they get on TV, right? They got no shame. Put a fake president on TV with some fake clapping. And motherfucking millions of people will vote for this shit and think that their vote counts. Okie dokie. All right. Just a Person says Richie goes on diatribe about Chinese nano drones flying in and out of his asshole. Aaron claims the drones are Jake the asshole shapeshifting. Stephen Hawking rebuttals. Pre-chair. Ass Mongold reacts. Holy shit. Let me see what I can do with all of that. This guy's getting very creative with his suggestions. Yeah, I wonder if Bill Burr or Theo Von Fawn would ever take a stab at this. All right, here goes. I gotta tell you, I've been saying this for years, and nobody really listens. But at any rate, I'm gonna say it again. China has developed little tiny freaking nano-sized drones, all right? You can't even see them with the naked eye. You have to have a nano drone detector. And of course, I have one at any rate. So these Chinese nano drones, these are very sophisticated little drones, right? They're like a full-size drone, except they're nano-sized. What they're able to do, they're able to fly right up inside your asshole, and they can implant themselves within your urethra, all right? And then you know what they develop inside once they get up in your urethra? Nano AIDS. Chinese nano AIDS, nonetheless. At any rate, I need you to like, share, and subscribe, or don't. I'm out. It's what I've been saying. Jake the asshole. He calls himself Jake the Awake now. It's because I've been bodying him as a shape-shifting icon for quite some time now. He's a bloody shape-shifting icon, I tell you. And he shape-shifts in the little Chinese nano drones. And just like Richie from Boston said, he flies up people's assholes. It's why he originally called himself Jake the Asshole, because he would turn into a Chinese nano drone and fly up people's assholes. He's a bloody shape-shifting icon. Have you guys seen this? Richie from Boston talking about nano drones? Whoa, this is almost as crazy as the Epstein files. You gotta be fucking kidding me. Oh, there you go. Whew, man. Like I said, go ask some famous comedian to try and take a stab at doing that shit. I doubt they could pull it off. All right. There you go. All right. I got Holden laughing. That's how I know it was funny. Because Holden doesn't laugh unless it's really funny. All right. All right. I'm seeing the LOLs. I'm seeing the laughing emojis coming in. Sweet, sweet, sweet. All right. All right. We doing it. That's right. I had to show off some real comedy, you know, some actual physical comedy, some create comedy on the spot type comedy, you know, genuine make you fucking laugh from the gut type comedy, right? I swear I'm like the only one left that does real comedy. And I don't even like to do stand-up anymore because stand-up comedy has been basically ruined. Plus, hardly anyone wants to go watch a live stand-up show anymore. And if you do go watch a live stand-up show, you're going to get corporate crap comedy from some fucking hack comedian that maybe used to be funny, but they ain't funny no more. In fact, we should transition into that. Transition away from Trump and into the scripted death of comedy. They're still clapping for Steve. Fuck.
You know, Steve was chosen by me.
Oh! All right. That's enough of that. Like I said, there ain't much going on in the world as far as like politics and world stage shenanigans. As far as I'm concerned, a bunch of boring shit. So we're going to move on to the scripted death of comedy. You guys know that comedy is controlled by the government. As far as real comedy and telling the truth and making the truth funny and getting promoted, they aren't going to let any real comedies or any real comic, such as myself, get in front of a big crowd on TV, right? They're not going to broadcast somebody like me to millions of people and say, hey, get a load of this guy. He can actually be real funny on the spot without having to be handed a bunch of fucking hack jokes by shitty writers, right? So you see the fucking late night guys, they have to have like a team of writers hand them hack jokes, and then they have to read the hack jokes off of a fucking teleprompter, and then the crowd fake laughs at their fucking hack jokes, but not loud enough, so then they have to add a fake laugh track to make you think that those fucking late night hacks are fucking funny, when you know goddamn well they ain't. I was pointing it out a long time ago, and I was pointing out that these other comics, these supposed stand-up comics, are not funny as well, especially the ones that associate themselves with Joe Rogan, the Rogan verse, right? These comics that like live in a big ass mansion and somehow are wealthy, even though they aren't funny. Yeah, we're going to take a look at some of these guys. So, one thing I started to notice was that genuine comedy is straight up dead as far as like who is a really funny stand-up comedian anymore. It's like the art of stand-up has basically died. Sure, there's still a handful of comedians out there that still can perform for big crowds and entertain them, but basically you don't see any comics right now like doing any movies that everybody's going out to watch. There's no funny comedy movies. See, back in the day, somebody like Jim Carrey, for instance, he was on In Living Color, and before that he did stand-up comedy, and then he parlayed his In Living Color performances doing skits into doing movies. And then once he started doing movies, then he started doing a bunch of movies, right? And then he became like too big for stand-up. So you don't see that happening the same way anymore. You don't see the stand-up comedian turning into a big giant movie star anymore. People don't want to go watch movies. People aren't infatuated with Hollywood celebrities anymore. And so this trickle down effect where the Hollywood movies just systematically got shittier, they just stopped making funny movies, right? So now you don't really have many funny movies to even choose from if you did want to go watch one. And the ones you have to choose from are going to suck donkey dicks. Seriously, when was the last truly funny movie that you watched that made you laugh a bunch of fucking times, right? It's got to have been like 20 years, 30 years or so since I like laughed my ass off at a movie in the theater. So the art of comedy has been dying for a long time. And now we're to the point where it's actually in the best interest of a comic to get clicks by not being funny and creating negative attention, trolling their audience. That's actually worth more money than having a good set and being funny. And I'm going to prove it. Nowadays, negative attention is worth more money than positive attention. If a comedian has a pretty good set and you say, oh, I went to go see Theo Von and he had a pretty good set. Oh, cool. I'm going to go take a shit. Like, who cares, right? If a comedian has a pretty good set. Isn't that what they're supposed to do? But if a comedian goes out and bombs their ass off. Oh, did you hear? Theo Von bombed his last performance so bad that people in the crowd started walking out. Oh, really? Well, maybe I'll check that out. I want to see this motherfucker bomb. I told you he sucked, right? So even I want to go click on this video. Oh, Theo Von bombed. Awesome. I knew he was a hack-ass piece of shit who was never funny to begin with, right? See, so bombing now and being a prick and creating negative attention will get you more clicks and generate more revenue. And systematically, a bunch of news articles can be written about these these events where they bomb and stuff, right? So I'm going to show you guys two examples tonight. Bill Burr and Theo Von, who are both getting massive attention over some negative shit. Way more so than if they would have did a funny set. And trout fishing at Hood Park, I see, sent 5 free memberships out. So thank you, Trout Fishing at Hood Park, for the 5 memberships that you purchased for the channel. I appreciate that. In fact, I need to make some new members-only content. I've been totally slacking on that. So expect a slew of members-only content coming soon to make up for the fact that I haven't done any lately. All right, let me get back on track here. So let's start with Bill Burr, and then we'll work our way to Theo Von. So we'll get rid of Trump here. So Bill Burr recently did a comedy festival in Saudi Arabia. But this was after he talked a bunch of shit previously about the Saudi Arabian Comedy Festival. And he claimed that they pay the comedians over there with dirty oil money. And he talked a bunch of shit about the Saudis' culture. But then he accepted a huge payday to go over there and perform comedy. So now he's getting a bunch of shit. And so I noticed when I was heading back from the coast, I went on a little mini vacation. And when I was heading back and I was looking at YouTube, I saw all these different Bill Burr videos coming across my feed without me even trying to look them up or anything. They were all talking about him crashing out or getting a backlash from his fans for going over to Saudi Arabia. So I'll just show you guys a bit of that, and I'll show you how many people have made videos about it and how much attention him going to Saudi Arabia is getting, to where it's going to prove my point that being funny isn't where the money is. Now, the money comes from generating clicks, and generating clicks comes from creating outrage. Let's check this out. All right.
I can't believe you went to that place I can't find on a map. And this bot said I was upset about it, so now I am. I can't believe how much anger I had about this issue after it went viral.
So you're here to apologize?
No, not at all. It was one of the most amazing experiences I've had as a comedian. It was incredible. And what was the best part is my...
You haven't missed much, brother. Thank you for the super chat donation. Krieger says, got here late. Sounds like I didn't miss the Theo roast. What a douche. No, not yet. I just started talking about how comedians are getting negative attention. And I'm going to make my point that they're doing this on purpose. So Bill Burr is being a troll to his audience. And he's not even really trying to be funny so much anymore. And I'm going to show you some other comedians that are doing the same thing. Not even trying to be funny. Instead, doing the opposite. And they're getting way more attention for being not funny and creating this negative attention. They're getting all these different articles written about them and a bunch of other YouTubers making videos about them. So I'm going to make my point that comedy is beyond dead. And now you have people doing the opposite of being funny in order to get clicks and generate revenue. And they're still calling these people comics. So thank you very much, Krieger, for the super chat.
whole life is I've been paranoid about the news. Like I watch the news and it always go like, this doesn't feels like they're moving stuff around, they're shifting it. So to actually kind of be in the middle of one of those stories and actually confirm it and watching them lying their ass off, saying there was no women there, which was a lie. It was just great to be at home. I fucking knew it. I knew they were lying.
All right.
It's not all right. It's really like fucked up that they do that.
You sound like anyone's uncle yelling at the TV.
All right, so Bill Burr has been trying to address the Riyadh Comedy Festival controversy, and he is not doing himself any favors with this.
Like if he wanted to take a payday and go over there, he could have just did it and then not addressed it. But the fact he's addressing it and like lashing out at his fans, it's like he's purposely trolling people. And so what this does is it gets people to watch for longer. I swear the numbers back this up. And then they comment, especially on social media or videos here on YouTube, right? So I can show you an example. This video right here was made about Bill Burr crashing out on his fans. 453,000 views on just this video. And this is just this one video. I saw after I watched this video, because I watched this video, YouTube's like, here's another Bill Burr video. Here's another Bill Burr video. And it was all related to this Saudi shit and the backlash. I swear they recommended me like 10 videos, all saying the same thing. Some of the videos had hundreds of thousands of views like this one. A few of them had over 1 million views. So imagine getting 10 million views through all these little YouTube channels who are going to talk about Bill Burr crashes out on his fans, right? Imagine 10 million people are talking about you because you crashed out on your fans. Whereas if he just had a good set and was funny somewhere, well, there's nothing to write about. There's nothing to talk about. There's no outrage, right? So having a good set ain't worth the same amount of money. You're not going to get the same attention for having a good set and keeping your mouth shut and not trying to piss off your fans. So the proof of concept seems to have been proven that if you troll your fans and be not funny on purpose and be a prick to your own fans, it seems to be where the actual clicks and revenue is generated. More so than being funny at your show. Right? So just this guy's video right here talking about it at 453,000 views. This guy made a check, right? So perhaps Bill could even have a deal in place with some of these channels that have big audiences. Like, oh, make a video about me and cut me in on some of the ad revenue, right? And I'm going to do this thing and see what I'm saying? So whether he gets some of this ad revenue or not, people are still talking about him, whereas nobody would be talking about him if he didn't crash out on his fans.
I mean, this feels even more insulting than him actually doing the festival. You know, I'd respect it more if he's just like, listen, it was too much money to turn down. That's why I did it. Because instead, he's trying to act like this was a virtuous thing he did. And if you criticize it, you're the self-righteous one or sanctimonious one. He kept saying that when he addressed it on his podcast. And Conan O'Brien's, he did a live show with Conan, and people apparently walked out during it. It was that bad. Because in between Burr acting like the people...
Oh, this is incorrect. Kevin Marston says, can't be funny without being offensive. Oh, that's BS. I've got plenty of bits that I've done that are just straight up genuine funny. In fact, one of my most famous bits, I'm not going to do it right now because it's a long bit, is my beatboxing bit. My world championship beatboxing bit that I do is just genuine funny. There's nothing offensive about it that anybody can say that I hurt their feelings or whatever, right? So it's just a straight up physical comedy piece that I set up in a certain way. And so if you've ever seen my beatboxing comedy bit, I'm not doing anything to offend anybody's religion or culture. I ain't saying anything that's going to outrage anyone. And the whole bit is based off me doing a really terrible beatboxing bit after talking about how great I am at it. So I personally know what it's like to be funny without being offensive. Now, I've also said plenty of offensive shit on purpose to be funny. So just want to make the point. It can be done.
criticizing him are the ones virtue signaling. You talk about how if you actually care about Saudi Arabia and the people there, you'd realize this was a positive thing he did. He really acts like this was some philanthropic work he was doing over there and says it helped progress their country.
All right, so this is how he trolls his audience. So before he goes to Saudi, so at some point he was talking shit about this Saudi comedy festival. And he specifically said that they pay the comics with dirty oil money, right? And then he even dissed parts of their culture and their society. I can't remember exactly what he said, but you can find it. And then he accepts this big paycheck to go over there and do a comedy show. And then, of course, they have all these channels lined up to call him out for it, right? And then he's there to be like, what? You guys are fucking losers. It was the greatest experience of my life. Fuck you guys for getting offended. So it's like this ultimate troll job where he knows he's going to piss off his fans and he's going to do it on purpose. And he's going to get a shitload of attention for doing it. And then everybody on down the line gets paid. All the people who react to it and talk about it, they're going to get that big view count. And then they're going to get paid too.
Of course, never mentions all the money he got paid to go over there by the royal family, and doesn't mention the human rights violations they commit. So it's impossible to take him seriously anymore. I mean, even at one point during this podcast, when he's trying to be serious and talk about how they help progress over there, I'm pretty sure you can hear someone in the crowd laugh at him.
This is a very good point. Boosh Comics says you can tell when they join the Illuminati and they lose their edge. I think when Bill did a movie with that 911 kid from SNL, Pete Davidson, it was over for Bill. So he's definitely went through some changes as far as his comedic style, and he became totally unfunny. Now, he was never one of my favorite comedians or anything, but I can remember like 10 years ago, he did do he said a few things that did make me laugh. I think one time, like, people like booed him on stage at Philadelphia for something he said, and then he went off on this tirade about how the Philadelphia Eagles suck. So it was stuff he did like 10, 15 years ago or more that I can kind of remember laughing at him a few times. But it's been a long time since Bill Burr has done or said anything that has made me laugh. I can't remember a single bit in the last decade that he's done that I care about, right? So I have to remember some old ass shit like him making fun of the Eagles before they ever won a Super Bowl, which was a long time ago when he did that. So yeah, I know what you mean. There's like a moment where they lose their edge and then they like, will have like liberal views all of a sudden, or they'll like do something to humiliate themselves, have some humiliating thing happen to them, which makes them fall from grace. So yeah, the same thing we're going to talk about later with Theo Von Fawn, except that dude was never funny to begin with. Thank you very much, Boosh Comics. Oh, you guys know who also went to Riyadh to the same comedy festival with Bill Burr, except he's not getting any of the backlash? Dave Chappelle. The fake Dave Chappelle. He was at this same Saudi Arabia comedy festival that Bill Burr went to, and he performed there as well. But since he is Muslim, supposedly, he's not getting any of the backlash, because Bill Burr talked a bunch of shit about these people and their culture and then went there. That means all these people get to go in on Bill Burr and call him out, and he gets to tell everybody to fuck off. And he gets to be the center of attention, and it's all just negative attention.
And to their credit, they said, all right, what do we got to do? And they basically whittled it all the way down to you couldn't talk about any religion. Theirs, yours, anybody else's, and you couldn't make fun of the royals. That was it. Now, I know a lot of people that, well, that's fucked up, man. It's like, well, they just progressed the ball like 10 yards, and it was amazing. And we get there.
They progressed the ball. What he basically said was he was allowed to talk about anything except religion or make fun of them. The royals, the royal family that hired him. Yeah, he's not allowed to make fun of them or their religion. And then he calls this progressing the ball like 10 yards. It's progression, you guys, to be told what you can and can't make fun of.
The royals. That was it. Now, I know a lot of religion, and they basically whittled it all the way down to you couldn't talk about any religion. Theirs, yours, anybody else's, and you couldn't make fun of the royals. That was it. Now, I know a lot of people that, well, that's fucked up, man. It's like, well, they just progressed the ball like 10 yards, and it was amazing. And
they progressed the ball. It was progression for him to be paid to do comedy in a place that he talked shit about and said that it was dirty oil money. See how it's like purposely set up to outrage lefty liberal types who started following this guy recently. So it's like he started catering towards a more lefty audience, and now he's going to troll the shit out of them, except he doesn't have a right-wing audience to fall back on. So now it's just like he's just trolling anyone who ever listened to him at this point.
We get there, it's like in the round, and I'm waiting to go on, and everybody in the crowd is dressed like fucking Yasser Arafat, right? Listen, what went going on over there was a super positive thing. If you actually get...
All right, super chat coming in from the Sober Scalper. He says, did you like Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor? Stir crazy, see no evil, hear no evil. Damn, they made me piss myself. Haha, better than any UK comedy ever. Bad timing, super chat. I'm behind. Oh yeah, I can't remember actually sitting through those movies. They came out when I was a really young kid. I was born in 83. And so those comedies were made for like more adults rather than children. And so when they came out, because I want to say that's like late 80s that those movies came out, right? I don't even know if it was even in the 90s. So yeah, I was really young. And so I was just interested in other stuff, other like, you know, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies, shit like that when I was really young. In fact, let me look up the date on one of those. I think that's late 80s. Yeah, 1980. Yeah, see, the Stir Crazy came out before I was born. See, that makes sense why I can't remember it. I thought it was late 80s, and it's actually 1980, which is damn near 70s, basically. So no wonder I don't remember those movies. Yeah, you know what? I might have to go back and watch those movies, because if you're saying they're funny and I have an appreciation for old comedies, I might actually enjoy them. See, if I am going to go back and watch a comedy, I like to go back and watch old classic comedies. So I might have to go back and check these out. Which one's more funny? Stir Crazy or See No Evil, Hear No Evil? And thank you again for the super chat, Sober Scalper. Lucifer says, See No Evil was awesome. Yeah, well, that's something Lucifer would totally say. All right.
Give a fuck about those people and how they're living over there. There's going to have to be these types of things to kind of pull them in. And I will tell you, the Cheesecake Factory in Riyadh, man, it's incredible. It's right next to the Pizza Hut and the KFC. And if you want a pair of Timberlands, it's across the street next to the Marriott, catty corner to the fucking Hilton.
Yeah, that's not funny. Listen to Conan like fake chuckle. Even he can't like bring himself to fake laugh. And then there's some fucking lady fake laughing.
Kind of pull them in. And I will tell you, the Cheesecake Factory in Riyadh, man, it's incredible. It's right next to the Pizza Hut and the KFC. And if you want a pair of Timberlands, it's across the street next to the Marriott, catty corner to the fucking Hilton.
Yeah, it's right next to the fucking McDonald's. And then there's a fucking Burger King. And if you don't like that, you can go to fucking Subway. Oh, maybe go to fucking Chick-fil-A. They got a fucking Chick-fil-A in Riyadh, right next to the fucking Holiday Inn. I went down the fucking slip and slide at the Holiday Inn in the Riyadh. And then I had fucking round table fucking pizza and drank some fucking Pepsi. Coca-Cola, product placement. How many other fucking fast food businesses can I fucking name?
Things like this have to happen in order to gradually like progress. And then, you know, it was necessary. It felt right afterward. Like I really, and it really was like the people, and I vibed with them and they were funny.
Yeah. So Bill's critics just don't understand. He really did
Daily Beast. Bill Burr goes nuclear on his critics of his Saudi performance. See, so then they have all of these different media outlets writing articles about it. So imagine Bill Burr gets 10 million people to talk about him over like a 48-hour span because he went over there to do that and then told everybody, hey, fuck you if you're offended. See, it's a lot better than any good press, right? Like, oh, Bill Burr went over to England and did comedy, and he did good. Yeah, who cares? Nobody would give a fuck about that. Bill Burr went to Australia and did a pretty good set. Yeah, well, who gives a flying fuck? Oh, well, did you hear that he went and did the Saudi film or comedy festival, and he took their dirty oil money after he talked a bunch of shit about their culture? And now he's telling his fans to fuck off if they say anything about it. Did you hear about? Oh, really? See, now they got something. So this just proves my point. Comedy is dead. There ain't no reason for Bill Burr to even try and be funny. It's actually in his best interest to troll his audience from this point on. So what they're doing, y'all, they're creating heel comedians. So in pro wrestling, they have baby faces, which are the good guys. And then they have heels, which are the bad guys. It seems like these stand-up comics who aren't getting as many people to come watch them anymore, they're being converted into heel pro wrestlers, except they're heel stand-up comedians or heel comedians, right? Bad guy comics. And then all of the good guy comics can react to him and call him out for being a bad guy comic. See? Comedy dying a miserable death, so they're resorting to professional wrestling style antics, having these comedians purposely be not funny, purposely troll their audience. Heel comedians. I can't think of anything more fucking pathetic than being a prick on purpose and trolling your audience because you ain't goddamn funny. The Sober Scalper said, definitely the most funny is See No Evil, Hear No Evil. It's got a place in my heart as top-notch artwork. I guess you 5 years younger than me. You do look younger, and everyone says I look younger. Kudos. Well, the reason why I look young is because I shave before I do my streams and go on camera. If I wouldn't have shaved like 20 minutes before I went on camera, I would have all these little gray hairs in my beard. And my beard would be all patchy like Joe Dirt, and there'd be a bunch of gray hairs, and it would make me look like easily 5 to 10 years older just seeing the gray hairs. And I dye my gray hairs on my head, so I'm pretty much like 80% gray. One of these days when I stop dyeing my hair, I'm going to be like almost completely gray, and you guys are going to be like, holy shit, Jake aged like 10 years in a day. What the fuck happened, right? So, yeah, one of the ways I keep myself looking young is I shave my hair off and I dye my grays. That's the only thing I do to improve my looks as far as like altering anything. A little bit of hair dye. And if anyone has a problem with that, I don't give a fuck. One of these days, I think when I'm like 50, I'll stop dyeing it and I'll just be gray. 50 is probably a good time to be gray. I'm just not ready to be gray yet. I started going gray when I was in my 30s, and I did not like it. See, I can still get ID'd if I like have the right look on my face and I'm like looking at my phone, right? I can like go to buy alcohol, and if I'm like staring at my phone and I have like a childish look on my face, they'll be like, yeah, I'm going to need to see some ID, young man. I swear I'm a 42-year-old dude. Here you go. All right. I actually don't even like drinking anymore. You guys, I think I've pretty much stopped drinking because it just makes me feel like shit. Yeah. I tried to drink like a little bit the other day for the first time in like a month. I had 2 glasses of wine, and it made me feel like total shit the next day. Just 2 glasses of wine. I'm like, fuck, I guess that's it. No more drinking. can't even drink a fucking couple glasses of wine. So yeah, I don't know what that has to do with anything, but yep. Now that I'm getting old, I just want to feel good, and even drinking just a little bit of alcohol now will make me feel like shit, and I just don't want to feel like shit anymore. So I guess my drinking days are done. Yep. All right, let's get back to this Bill Burr crashing out shit, and then we'll switch it up to Theo Vaughn.
This because he's a man of the people. Like, it's actually really brave and progressive to get paid a ton of money by a corrupt government and then do positive PR for them and ignore their use of slave labor. You know, you won't hear old Billy Bonesaw joke about that at all, because then he'll never get a check from the Saudis again. Like, Tim Dillon proved that was off limits. You know, at least he was being honest and didn't censor himself, and he's being too honest. Like, he literally said he's just doing it for the money, and he's being paid to look the other way when it comes to slave labor and human rights violations. So that shows.
All right.
In London, England on that tour, you know, which is arguably the bloodiest fucking money out there. So there's like that element of racism to it where if brown people are doing it, it's fucked up. If white people are doing it, whoa, what are you talking about? You know, almost like sports. So, yeah, my team doesn't cheat. Your fucking team cheats. So, I mean, if we're going to do the blood money game, I think the only countries I've ever played in that is clean money was New Zealand and I think Iceland. But then Iceland is weird where over there they have an app, a dating app that doesn't say, you know, if you're related, it's how. Because they're all part of the same thing over there. I'm straight.
Wait, that's not a joke.
That's not a joke. It's
There's this lady who keeps laughing at like every fucking thing he says, and then like Conan's like, yeah, that's not even a joke. That's just like something that's true. And there's this lady who's like, like, shut up, cunt.
fucking true.
Yeah.
Look at you guys. Oh, now he's going after Iceland. Now I'm really upset with that place. I don't really quite know where it is next to England. Is that it? No, that's Ireland. That's Isle of Man. That's fucking Iceland.
So now he's treating everyone as if they don't know the difference between Iceland and Ireland. Yeah! Troll your own fans and tell them that they're so fucking stupid they don't know where Iceland is and that they think that it's Ireland. Yeah, I'm sure they're going to get a kick out of that. See, something like that to troll your own fans and make this insinuation that they're too fucking stupid to find Iceland on a map. You know that's not going to go well. But so he's purposely doing this. This is not a crash out. This isn't him doing something that's going to hurt his career. He's doing something to help his career. He's getting all this attention by having this crash out.
So, no, I'm part of I don't give a fuck what all these phony fucking people are saying. My thing is I go out to perform in front of fucking people, and like as I've been traveling the world, I want to see more of it. And the thing that I loved about going to these Arab countries is that their sense of humor, they're silly. They're really silly. And I'm a silly person.
So it's wild.
He's a silly person. All right. Sober Scalper said, no, wait, Stir Crazy was the funniest. He sent me another super chat to correct himself on which Gene Wilder, Richard Pryor movie was more funny. I like it. So Stir Crazy's the funniest. Please try and watch them again, Jake. You dye your hair. I grow a beard to hide a double chin, but my beard is getting wider and wider. Ha ha ha. Yeah, there's wrestlers that dye their hair because they start going gray. So like there's some pro wrestlers who are like famous WWE, semi-famous WWE wrestlers, and they start going gray, and then they suddenly will be nice and brown again, right? And it's like, okay, this dude's 40 years old and having to dye his hair, right? So I know what it's like to look in the mirror and see brown hair my whole life, and then you come to a day where the gray hairs start taking over the brown hairs, and it's like, shit. All right, I'll dye it for just a little while until I'm like 50, and then I'll stop. And then I'll let the gray take over. Yes, Suzette and Bill Burr is boring and not funny. I'm just showing you. Check it out. I'll type in right here for you guys to see. Bill Burr Riyadh Comedy Festival. Now, this is going to prove my point right here. Check this out. Here's a video about it. Only 22,000 views. Here's a video about it. 25,000 views. Not many on those two. Here's a video about it. 267,000. Here's another video about it. 236,000. Here's one right here about the same thing. 132,000. 13,000. 22,000. So he's getting all these little channels, 59,000, a bunch of little channels to all make the same video. And here's the one we were watching on the same channel, 730,000. So this guy, too lazy to try, he has a big audience. And so he made two videos about the same thing, and both of them got a bunch of views. All right, so those are some big view counts right there. Here it is again. 12 days ago, 270,000. 151,000. This is all the same thing, you guys. All these channels are making content about the exact same thing. Oh, now it's showing me other shit. Here it is again. Saudi shit. Here's one, 400,000. Saudi shit. More the Saudi shit. See? Saudi shit. So that's like the main thing now. If you look up Bill Burr's name, you're going to hear about that, him going over and do the Saudi thing. So you have to think about not only all the views, but like every one of those channels that made a video, they got a paycheck out of that. They made money on that. So it's like, not only do you generate more money for yourself, but you generate more money across the board. You get people talking about you. So if you get 10 million people talking about you in a day or in a 48-hour span, that, of course, is going to be better than doing a pretty good set and not even getting 1 million people to talk about you, right? If he was just being regular old Bill Burr and had a pretty good set and nobody cared about the Riyadh Comedy Festival, well, shit, nobody would be talking about him really. So by creating this controversy, and then when people call him out by basically telling the fans, hey, fuck you, I don't care what you think, that gets them double outraged. And then they take to social media. All these other channels now can make a video, and then they come off like the good guy wrestler for calling out the bad guy wrestler, right? So any channel who's calling out Bill Burr for attacking his fans, you're going to look like the good guy, the sensible one. I can't believe Bill Burr is attacking his most loyal fans after coming back from Saudi Arabia and taking that dirty oil money, right? You get to be the virtuous one who calls out the bad guy. Sober Scalper says, please do Stephen Hawking's in an adult movie with The Rock. In an adult movie with The Rock. All right, I'm going to do mumbling Stephen Hawking instead of robot voice Stephen Hawking. There's two versions of Stephen Hawking. The younger version when he mumbled, and then you would have an interpreter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the Rock interpreting for the young Stephen Hawking, and they're both in an adult movie, I guess. Okay, away we go. All right, now listen here. Stephen Hawking just told The Rock that he's got a big salami swinging down below, and his salami is this big. If you smell what The Rock and Stephen Hawking are cooking. So The Rock and Stephen Hawking, we're getting ready to tag team some sweet poontang, if you know what The Rock means. If you want to see The Rock and you want to see Stephen Hawking tag teaming that sweet poontang, let me hear you say, oh, yeah. The Rock doesn't say that. What the fuck was that all about? I couldn't think of how I wanted to end that. Then I couldn't think of a funny thing for The Rock to say at the end. But there you go. That's The Rock and Stephen Hawking about to get some poontang. Let me tell you something. The Rock is here translating for one of the sexiest men in the world, Stephen Hawking, and we're about to tag team some sweet poontang. If you smell what The Rock and the Stephen Hawk are cooking. Boom, 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 boom. All right, there you go. Woo. Sober Scalper said, that was fantastic. All right, well, I tried. It looked like it might be a swing and a miss at first, but then I think I recovered and I turned it into a solid base hit. It was almost a swing and a miss. All right. Thank you, Sober Scalper. You are very kind. I appreciate the super chat donations coming in. It looks like I missed one from Neil. My bad. Let me go back and get the super chat that I missed from Neil. Neil says, Jake, I appreciate your content. Have for years. Stay stationary level and on a plane in the realm. I don't think I have any other choice but to do just that. Thank you very much, Neil. Anybody who wants to go back and watch the old school flat earth content where I talk about how the earth is a stationary plane, it's still there to be enjoyed. Yes, this channel started as a flat earth channel, if you can believe it. And all these years later, it's transitioned to more of a all-around truth and comedy channel, right? Thank you very much, Neil. Thank you for your years of support, and thank you for being here tonight. All right, so let's move on to Theo Von Fawn. So here's another example of a hack comedian who's not funny, who's getting a ton of attention for being not funny at his own comedy special. So Theo Von Fawn had a comedy taping and he bombed. And so he's getting a bunch of attention for bombing. Almost just like Bill Burr. If you look up Theo Von Fawn right now, it's just video after video about like Theo Von Fawn addresses bombing recently, right? So we'll watch one of those. Talk about how this guy's a total hack. I can't think of a single thing Theo Von ever did to make me laugh. Like there's no bit that I can remember that stands out. There's no like impression or anything that I can think of that this guy has ever done. I can vaguely remember when he was on like the Real World or Road Rules or some shit, right? Real World Road Rules Challenge. He was on some shit like that on MTV a long time ago, but I never remember him doing anything actually funny. All right. So we'll check out this video of him bombing. So apparently they won't show him bombing. So they're just talking about how he bombed. But there isn't any video of the actual bombing because I guess it was so bad they don't want to show you. So instead they just keep you talking about it. Or I guess you got to go watch it on Netflix. I'm not sure what the deal is, but I can't find the video of him bombing at this actual performance. But that is the major story. I don't know what to tell you about that, man. I'm having a long month. I'm trying not to take my own life, so I just want to get these photos.
I'd love to talk a little bit about shame, man, because that was a huge part of my life.
Well, tell me about it.
I just felt ashamed of myself.
Yeah.
I felt ashamed of I felt ashamed of how I looked. I felt ashamed of like my ears, my nose, my face, the way I stood.
Let's go pay money to watch this guy. I don't know about you guys, but I totally want to give away my money and sit in a seat and pay attention to what this guy has to say. I mean, listen to how funny he is.
I felt, I felt ashamed of my family, of my home. Everything. I just felt a ton of it. I'm not whining about it right now. I'm just thinking back, but yeah, I just felt a ton of shame. You know?
Gotta love that comedy. Sober Scalper said, bro, Theo is the most unfunny person ever. He literally makes me understand their terminology cringe. So I have said, even before this recent bombing of his, I have said that this guy Theo has never done a single thing that I'm aware of that is funny. I can't think of a single bit that he's even famous for that other people think are funny. I've asked people, like, what did he do that he was ever even known for being funny? How did he ever get known as a comic? And so this is a guy who I don't think he was ever funny. And so anybody who does this podcast thing where they have like mainstream guests from the world stage, politicians and actors and musicians and industry plants and shit, yeah, that's not comedy. And in fact, that's a controlled job. Somebody's setting that whole thing up. It's not like Theo has this podcast and he picks out his guests. These guests are lined up for him. So I see a lot of these so-called comics who shouldn't be called comedians. They shouldn't even be called comics. They shouldn't have that title to begin with. And they do these boring ass podcasts and they have on fucking mainstream guests who are in the big club. Right? So Theo is just basically another Joe Rogan type, interviewing people. And it's just some boring ass scripted interview where the person being interviewed knows what they're going to talk about beforehand, the questions they already know they're going to be asked. And so when I hear about this dude bombing, it's like, yeah, well, he was never funny. So this is how he's going to get attention, by bombing. So if Theo had a decent set, nobody would talk about it. But since Theo bombed recently really bad and people got up and walked out, well, now he gets attention. Now there's channels making videos about him.
I think I felt ashamed of who I was at like the first molecule, almost like the first cell of my, the dirt under the roots. It felt like there was a part of me that felt like I was me, or anything that had to do with me was gross.
He's like a new age Rogan type. So Rogan's getting older and his fan base is getting older. So then they have to have the next younger version of Rogan ready to take over for these new younger kids turning into teenagers and 20 somethings, right? So the kids turn into teens, the teens turn into 20 somethings. They need someone to listen to. They might look at Joe Rogan as being too old, right? So they need some new, younger, hip comedian for the kids to listen to, basically. So they position this fucking hack to be what college kids listen to and younger people listen to, right? So they have to have the next plant in line, basically, ready to go when their older plants stop speaking to the youth, when the youth no longer cares about what someone has to say. Then they got the next one lined up and ready to go.
On the evening of September 27, 2025, Theo Von took the stage at New York's Beacon Theater to tape his upcoming Netflix special, what should have been a celebration.
So Krieger says, who is he anyway? Just heard of him. He is a government down-to-earth idiot shill to reach the morons, and is the host alive. Oh my God, gross. So basically, Yeah, he's just like a shittier, more boring, younger Joe Rogan type who does the same type of shit as Joe Rogan. So less and less people are going out to watch stand-up comedy, and there's not as much money to be made in stand-up comedy as there is doing like a 2-hour podcast. So they found by doing podcasts, you can have sponsors, you can have ads, people can watch it at their leisure. And so even for me, doing a live stream for you guys and getting super chats is way easier than me trying to like travel to a comedy club and perform at the comedy club for a live audience and then heckle with the manager to pay me out at the end of the night, right? So it's actually it behooves me as a comedian to do it this way over stand-up comedy. So stand-up comedy is basically a dead art form. And so instead of doing stand-up comedy, a lot of these so-called these hack-ass comedians who shouldn't be called comedians, they do these fucking podcasts, and it's the same format as Rogan.
Celebratory moment in his career quickly became a source of concern among fans and observers as reports and clips from the night spread across social media. By most online accounts, the set did not go well. Audience members described sparse laughter, awkward pacing, and stretches where the energy in the room seemed to collapse. Several attendees reportedly walked out before the show ended. The atmosphere came to a head in one widely...
Let's read a few of these. Theo Von interrupted his own set something like 10 times last night, either to disappear backstage for 30 seconds or to ask a producer the punchline to his own joke. He was exhausted, anxious, and clearly under the influence. It took him 6 tries to get through one anecdote. You guys, if you have to disappear backstage and ask a producer for your punchline, then that means you didn't write your own material. Because here's the thing, I could be under the influence, but I'm not going to forget my beatbox joke, right? I'm not going to forget how to set up and do my beatbox routine. I'm not going to have to go fucking ask somebody like you guys. Hey, you guys, how do I do my beatbox joke? So forgetting your own shit, I don't know about that, man. So that means other people are writing his shit if he's forgetting it. It needs to be reminded. And if you're going to disappear off stage, yeah, you got to be trolling your own audience. So if it takes him 6 tries to get through one anecdote, what this tells me is Theo was sent out there to bomb. I don't even think it's by accident. This guy is a hack comedian, but even a hack can still have some prepared hack material and get through their fucking hack shit. So the fact that they would send him out there unprepared for him to bomb means he was supposed to go out there and bomb. And that's how he's going to get all this attention in all these videos, is because he bombed. If he would have went out there and had an okay performance and nobody would have walked out, then there wouldn't be anything to talk about. But since he bombed and people walked out and then he addressed it afterwards, now there's something to talk about.
Several attendees reportedly walked out before the show ended. The atmosphere came to a head in one widely shared clip in which Theo, looking disheveled, muttered, "I've tried not to take my own life," as people filtered toward the exits. For many who saw the video, it was a deeply unsettling moment that blurred the line between failed joke and personal confession. The context of Theo Von's career and life made this incident resonate more strongly. He has spoken openly for years about his struggles with mental health, his battles with addiction, and his efforts to remain sober. Those admissions, often framed with dark humor, have been a central part of his podcast appearances and stand-up routines.
So after he bombs, he talks about taking his own life on stage. After he bombs. Here, we'll watch that clip of him saying that. It was at the very beginning.
I don't know what to tell you about that, man. I'm having a long month. I'm trying not to take my own life.
I'm having a long month. I'm trying not to take my own life. And then he really quickly flashed the devil horns.
I don't know what to tell you about that, man. I'm having a long month. I'm trying not to take my own life.
Trying not to take his own life. Devil horns. Real quick. He he had like deuces up. And then he throws that devil horn right when he says that.
I don't know what to tell you about that, man. I'm having a long month. I'm trying not to take my own life.
Boom.
I don't know what to tell you about that, man. I'm having a long month. I'm trying not to take my own life.
Ha ha ha! Gotcha, buddy. Jake, he meant to say I love you, but he just forgot to stick the thumb out. Okay? Theo Vaughn is not satanic, okay? He's clearly under the influence and he's going through some personal issues. Leave the guy alone, okay? He's usually really funny. No, he's not. He's a fucking hack and he bombed on purpose. And then he talked about killing himself after the show and then fucking flashed the devil horns right when he said that. Fuck this fucking industry plant shill being not funny on purpose. This is part of the reason why comedy is dead. It's long dead. Real comedy has been dead for a long time. I might be the only real comic left in this fucking realm. That's right. I might be the only dude representing actual fucking comedy at this point. Because this dude right here, who gets to do comedy tapings and has a crowd that pays to see him fucking bomb. Yeah, he's obviously not a real comedian. I remember it was in 2020. I figured out that I was the funniest guy in the world. I figured it out because everything shut down in 2020, right? All the comedy gigs were canceled. Everyone was sitting at home. And that's when I realized me sitting at home, I could create my own comedy, just create funniness from within. And all of the fucking hack comedians were like, wear a mask, get your jab, stay 6 feet apart. All the fucking corporate comics, the famous comics, were pushing the convids, pushing it like it was going to kill you, telling you to stay home. That's when I realized they aren't funny. None of them. They're a bunch of fucking tools and hacks pushing the fucking mainstream narrative. None of them courageous enough to tell the truth and make it funny. So in 2020, I figured it out in my own head. I was like, dude, I'm funnier than all these motherfuckers. And then once I just like went with that, I'm like, I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm the funniest. And I'm going to start telling people I'm the funniest. And I'm going to promote myself as the funniest because I know what I'm doing and I know it's funnier than these goddamn unfunny hacks. So to come to the realization, holy shit, I'm the funniest guy here? Whoa. And I'm still the funniest guy here. And I prove it in my live streams. I'm the only comedian I know that can do a 3-hour stream without any guests, without any written jokes, without anything prepared, and just make it happen. And I'll always get at least 4, 5, 10 funny things out of every stream. Free laughs at truth said, been a sub since the flat earth asshole beginnings. You are the only flat earther I watch now. Sadly, I fell for the flat earth plants for years. Thanks for keeping truth alive. Well, I'm glad you can admit that you got duped by these shills, but you are duped no longer. So the good news is, since you're able to admit that, you are no longer being duped by those shills. And you're here listening to me, the real deal. And so I'm glad to hear that you have been supporting the channel for that long. Thank you very much. Free laughs at truth. Hopefully you've got a few free laughs from my truth tonight. Thank you very much. I appreciate the super chat. Shady Davy D coming in with a super chat as well. Says, enjoying the show. Hit the like and subscribe. Hey, you guys, if you're having fun, we still got some more show left for you. Do me a good favor right now, a big favor, a good big favor, and hit the thumbs up button. It really does help. If most of you guys hit the thumbs up, it tricks YouTube into thinking that everybody loves me, and then they're more likely to promote me to people. I guess. I hope. I don't know. It just makes me feel better to see lots of thumbs up. So right now, take a second and hit that thumbs up button. All right. Thank you very much, Davey. You're awesome, brother. All right. So here's Theo addressing his bombing on stage.
Tolerate that. I don't know why we're just so mean to ourselves, man. You know, I don't know why I get so addicted to things. You know, I'm even addicted to damn nasal spray. You know, that's about the hardest thing I've had to kick, to be honest with you.
Actually, no, this isn't it. There's one point where he talks about his own bombing. I think it's on another video. That's right. I got a few different Theo Vaughn videos. So the same thing, if you type in Theo Vaughn right now in a search bar, you're most likely going to find something about him bombing recently and crashing out. Here it is. All right. So here is Theo addressing his bombing on stage. Oh, yeah, that's right. You guys, pay attention. He's going to blame the reason he bombed on a recent event.
About that, I want to just go through it because there's like a lot of stuff out there, speculation and all of that, and I want to just get super clear on it, right? Because I think a lot of people don't know like what went on, and it wasn't that crazy what went on, and I wish it was going to be a more exciting story, but I just want to
we all wish it was going to be a more exciting story, but you know, you're not a very exciting guy. You're a total fucking unfunny hack, and then you bombed on purpose because that's the only way you can get attention, because you're such an unfunny hack. You have to create fucking negative attention for yourself just so people will talk about you. David Hazel says, #1 YouTube channel. Thank you. That's right. This is the #1 YouTube channel for real comedy and real truth. And we are anti-AI around here. I don't use AI to help me create my titles or my thumbnails or any part of what I'm saying. So this channel is one of the last real, genuine humans who's really funny, who puts on an actual show-worthy performance every time I get on here, or at least I try. Thank you very much, David Hazel. Supporting real comedy. Sober Scalper said, bro, I seen you go from debunking globe cards, I think you mean globe tards, from debunking globe tards to being an amazing comedian. It's true. I can't think of anyone funnier. There is one guy, Alistair Williams in the UK, that I like, but that's it. Thank you. I feel like I've heard of him, but I can't think of what he looks like or any of his bits. I'll have to check him out when the stream's over. Thank you very much, Sober Scalper. You've donated several times tonight. I really appreciate the super chat love. You guys, these super chat donations, it's basically, when it all adds up, it's like I performed an actual comedy gig. Do you guys know there's comedians who drive hours and hours to go perform for maybe 15, 20 minutes in a comedy club, and they're lucky if they get maybe $100. You know, if they're like a well-known local comic, they're lucky to get a couple $100. And you guys, on any random Tuesday or anytime I stream, you guys come through with multiple super chat donations, and then sometimes at the end of a stream, I'll see that I've made $200-300, and I'm like, dude, I basically performed my own comedy gig here tonight, and I was taken care of by the people who enjoy the show. So you guys are supporting real comedy. You guys are keeping this live streaming thing that I do alive. I really appreciate it. One super chat at a time. You guys are making it happen for me, and I'm going to make it happen for you. Hell yeah. Trout fishing at Hood Park with a super sticker, very generous super sticker. Says #1. Awesome. You guys are the best. All right, let's get back to Theo Vaughn and his excuses for why he bombed. Everybody, listen up. He's going to make one of the most ridiculous excuses for not being funny that I've ever heard.
Yeah, I just want to share with you kind of what happened, I guess. And I don't want to make it a big deal, but I think, but I do want to like just kind of go into it, right? You know, so mental health is important to me, right? It's important to me. We talk about that kind of stuff on here a lot. And
Speed this dude up.
hold on.
So this dude's talking really slow, so I'm gonna have to speed him up.
So I had a comedy special that we were taping. We were taping it last week, and about a month before I quit taking some antidepressants I was taking. You know, I just kind of self-weaned myself off.
So he was on prescription pills, and then he stopped taking them.
And the reason why was because I wanted, like during the comedy show, I wanted to have a little bit more emotion during it.
He wanted to have more emotion, so he stopped taking prescription pills for depression. So is he basically blaming not taking pills for bombing? You guys, I tried to be funny, but it didn't go as planned, and it was because I stopped taking prescription pills. Oh, well, that makes sense. Yeah, that's a good enough excuse.
I wanted to have this kind of like, I just wanted to have some more feelings. You know, if
I just wanted to have feelings, and so I was taking these antidepressants, and I stopped because like I wanted to like have emotions, on stage. Okay. So it's the not taking the antidepressants fault that you're a fucking hack and you're not funny and people walked out. Gotcha.
if you ever taken antidepressants or if you haven't, it kind of takes away your feelings, kind of, so you just kind of stay in this space where you're okay. And it's nice. It's a safe space, but you don't, you're like the astronaut that kind of stays on the ship sometimes.
Now he's referring him not taking prescription pills to fake fucking astronaut fucking space travel shit, right? Why are you talking about being an astronaut and stuff when that shit's fake, bro?
And you get to do the thumbs up and shit, but other dudes are like, other people are out there. Anyway, so I quit taking my medication because I wanted to have a little bit more feelings during the show. I wanted to be able to talk about stuff a little bit more that meant something to me and put it into the comedy show. So that was all going fine, right? I was doing fine with that. We're headed into the comedy show, and then the Charlie Kirk thing happened, right? The Charlie Kirk.
Oh my God. Is he going to fucking blame the Charlie shit for him not being funny and bombing? You bet your fucking ass. He's going to blame the fucking Charlie thing for him not being funny. I swear to God, listen to him do it.
Murder happened, which is really crazy. It's just a crazy thing, right? We were headed into the comedy show, and then the Charlie Kirk thing happened, right? The Charlie Kirk murder happened, which is really crazy. It's just a crazy thing.
It was like a crazy thing, and we were headed into the comedy show, and this, this like murder, this crazy thing happened, Get to the part where you blame that for not being funny.
I've talked about it before. I'm not going to talk about it anymore right now. But a few days after that, or maybe a week after that, the Department of Homeland Security put a video up online talking about they started making like trap beat edits and like banger edits to evicting people from the country, right? Or eliminating illegals, maybe some criminals, some people just undocumented, all, just across the spectrum, right?
Department of Homeland Security put out trap beat edits about deporting people. Okay. What the fuck are you even trying to say, bro?
Right. So they put a video of mine that I'd made for somebody in a parking lot, probably like maybe a year and a half ago, just jokingly. I think it was a year and a half ago. They put it in at the front of this Department of Homeland Security, like trap beat. I think they had like, I'm not sure if they had like young boilers or whatever they had, but it was ridiculous. And the video was a girl had walked up to me in a parking lot, 5 million, 30 million views. It's everywhere. And the front of that Homeland Security video, it's on the White House thing. It's on everything.
So this is why he wasn't funny at his comedy special, because, you know, the Charlie thing happened, and then Department of Homeland Security put out this trap beat video with young boy lyrics or something. Not sure where the fuck he's going with this, but this doesn't seem like a very viable excuse for bombing at your own comedy special.
It's everywhere. And the first 10 seconds of it are me, right? Like, I don't have anything to do with this shit. Nobody asked me about it. You know, like nobody said, hey, this is going to happen. Like, and I have a lot of different thoughts about immigration, right? They're like showing people getting arrested. Like, it's just an intense thing. Like, and why is the government even making these? I don't know. But that's where we're at in the world. And
a true comedian would have done something funny by now. Like a real comic wouldn't have went 4 minutes being that goddamn boring and nonsensical, right? With what you're talking about. Like a real comic would have mixed in something funny in there. Even if you had something serious to start off with, you got to lighten the blow by mixing in something funny. But no, this guy right here, oh my God, he's just awkward and cringe. He damn sure isn't funny. So how did he ever have a comedy special to go tape to begin with? Who's paying to go watch it?
And I have a lot of thoughts about immigration, right? I have a ton of them. And we don't need to go into them all. Like, dude, what the fuck? Just all kind of shit, right? Like my phone just blew. I'm like, what the hell? It's just like the last thing I needed, right? There's a week left to this special. And this happens. You know, this thing comes out. And my father immigrated here from Nicaragua, right? So
this is still him making excuses. He's bringing up his father immigrating from Nicaragua as an excuse for why he wasn't funny.
So that had me really kind of paranoid. You know, that had me start to get kind of paranoid and, you know, like closing, like, you know, I had the curtains in my house kind of closed. I was just like, you know, you're paranoid. I woke up the next morning. Sorry, I need some water. I woke up the next morning to a text from a high government official saying, hey, if you need some extra security in your neighborhood or some extra police cars on patrol, let me know. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about?
Homeland Security sends him texts like that? Okay. Does it like say on screen Homeland Security? And then they just like text you an offer if you want extra security? Like, what the hell are you even talking about, dude?
Extra security. I don't have any, like, you know, I don't even know the code to my Ring camera. Like, I don't even know how to log in. So it's like, and like, what, you're just going to put police cars in my neighborhood? What are my neighbors going to think? Now they're fearful. Like, it's just like, I don't know this thing with security. But then you get a security person and if you're walking on a security guy, then that's kind of uncomfortable. Because now you're like, it kind of makes you spooked. You're like, well, what's going on? So there's just like all of that's happening. And then we get to just the job, right? Like, which is performing, speaking in front of strangers. Like, you had just seen this thing with Charlie Kirk.
Okay, so for about 6 minutes now, he's made a bunch of ridiculous excuses, none of which are viable excuses, in my opinion, right? Like, I could see, like, if you were, like, drunker than you've ever been in your life, or, like, your close relative died or something, and you were all torn up and drunk at the same time, and you had a bad performance or something. But like him making all these excuses, none of that shit should stop you from being funny.
Right? It's like we all watch somebody get lit up.
Oh, now he's back to the Kirk thing. And what's he talking about? He's talking about it as if it's a real event. See, so he's going to blame the Kirk shit for why he bombed. Can you guys imagine being such a pathetic fucking hack-ass plant who's so unfunny, you're gonna blame the Kirk shit for why you were not funny. Yo, it was like such a crazy event, when like Charlie, he got, like murdered and stuff. It was like, man, this is crazy, and like, so like my performance, like my emotions were like altered and whatnot,
Charlie Kirk, right? Like we all watch somebody get lit up. We all watch somebody get murdered casually on our phones, right? Like
we all watched somebody get lit up. We all watched somebody get murdered, right? You see the narrative this funny guy is pushing, and that's the reason why he couldn't be funny that night, because we all watched that.
And I don't mean to say it like that, but that's how it came across to us. There's no warning on a lot of video you see, and like, so just a lot of I think unnecessary pressure, a lot of stress going on that I did. Some of it I was aware of, and some of it you just don't know you're aware of it, I think.
All right, so over 6 minutes now of making excuses for why he wasn't funny at his own comedy special. And his main excuse, the Charlie shit. We saw Charlie get killed, so I could not be funny. That's too hard to be funny if Charlie get killed. All right, Sober Scalper said, promotions by the algorithms and podcasts are so overdone. I wish there be more people like you. Well, at least there is me, I mean, lucky enough for all of us, there is at least one me out there to be me and do what I'm doing right now. So the good news is there isn't an overabundance of me, right? Like if there was too many guys like me doing what I'm doing, then I wouldn't be as special. I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but hey, I'm here doing this, so at least there's me doing this, right? I mean, imagine a world where I wasn't doing this, then you'd have fucking nothing. You guys would be stuck with nothing but hacks to listen to, right? Now that's a world I wouldn't want to live in, a world without me. All right.
Because I think like feel kind of mildly manic. I think it was just being off the medication. I think and it wasn't insane. It was just little things. Like the second I got on stage, the first show, I couldn't feel any moisture in my mouth. And I started to feel like
so now he's blaming the moisture level in his mouth. It's the medication. It's the moisture in my mouth. Charlie died. I don't like myself. I'm insecure.
You ever remember that feeling if you were in high school and you got high and then you were standing there talking to your friends and you were just too high and you were just,
I was going to try and do a comedy show, but then I got high. Yeah. I was going to be really funny, but then I got high. Now everyone's sitting here wondering why. Yeah, because I got high. Because I got high. Because I got high. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
literally standing there just trying to pretending to be yourself a little bit. So I had a little bit of that going on. And it started off choppy. The first show, it started off kind of choppy. We were doing like a new intro with Joey.
Oh my God. I can't do it anymore. Can't do it. All right. Do you guys want to see an example of Theo actually bombing? Now, they don't have examples of his recent bombing that I could find that I'm aware of, but I did find an example from like 4 months ago. I think he did I don't know exactly when he did it, but it wasn't long ago. He did a show for the troops, a bunch of military members, and he bombed his ass off. And there were military members like shouting shit out and heckling him during the show. So we'll watch what he actually does when he's on stage trying to be funny. We'll watch Theo actually bomb. So you guys can see what it looks like when an unfunny hack gets up and attempts to do comedy for a big crowd who doesn't even really fucking care about him or want to see him. All right.
Behold Sarah.
Right after this commercial break, of course.
I don't know. What do you feel like? So where are you from, bro? Let's get into that, all right? Yeah. You're from Michigan. How is it? Good? Better than this show. Okay, that's a good answer. I'll feel you. What is this guy shaky or something, dude? This is getting tough. What else can we talk about? Man, that's how I feel too. Sorry, I don't know why I feel so weird. We'll get through this, man.
So Theo Von just performed for the troops in Qatar, and as you can see, it was atmosphere.
Dude. So, okay. All right, still doing bad. That's okay, guys. That's okay. What else can we talk about?
The set actually started out alright, drawing some pretty big laughs from jokes pandering to the audience.
Yeah, dude, I get here and the first thing they're like, welcome to Qatar, you can't be gay here. I'm like, what? I didn't plan on it. I'm not gay in my own country. I'm not gonna fly across the whole world just to be gay, you know. I'm not in the Navy.
So starts out by saying that he's not gay, and that gets the biggest laugh of the night. But then it's all downhill from there.
Is absurd.
So they got him.
Even though that one didn't land, the audience would usually laugh at the initial premise, the same way you would if someone just said it off the cuff in a conversation.
I've done a decent amount. I've done cocaine off of a baby's back as well, so not proud of myself, but welcome to Michigan, dude. Yeah.
But when he tried to flesh it out into a full 5-minute long bit, he started to completely lose the crowd.
I hit a ripper off this kid. I'm backpedaling out of the room. Bam, run into Richard's wife, Lauren, who's been a bitch at student council. She calls the police. Richard goes to jail, dude. And I left. I barely even knew him, so. Anyway, all right. Oh, this is going way better than my imagination earlier. What else?
It got so bad that the crowd started actively pitying him.
Sorry, I don't know why I feel so weird. We'll get through this, man.
Wow, the silence is really bad. And there's all these moments where he keeps apologizing. Like once you start saying, wow, I feel weird. I'm sorry. Oh, this is going bad. Then it just perpetually gets worse.
Yeah, okay. I came over here to support you guys. This is the worst. You guys are like, we'll help you, dude. All right. What else can I talk about? Well, I'm drug-free 2 years, man.
Panders to the crowd by saying he's drug-free so he can get an applause break.
Who only ever play to their own crowd. They're not doing weekend spots in front of random people who have no idea who they are, in between two other comics who are trying their best to keep their position at a nightclub. They're going out and performing to people who already like them from their podcast and will give them the benefit of the doubt with any joke they tell, or any story that they lazily meander their way through, and not provide even the smallest amount of pushback. So thank you to our troops out in Qatar for hopefully giving Theo Von a wake-up call that he has to work harder on his actual art form and not just rely on his fans already loving his personality. This week, Theo also got into what's being reported as a bar fight.
Yeah, I'm on TMZ right now having a bar fight in Nashville, so...
So he brings up the fact that he's on TMZ in his set, and TMZ is fake scripted news. So he's bringing up the fake scripted news and the fact that he's in a news story on the fake scripted news during his set.
It was a very minor physical confrontation.
Oh, yeah, I remember this. There was a guy who walked up to him and then he shoved this guy. See, something like this could be totally set up to get negative publicity. So Theo shoved this dude who asked him to pop balloons with him. And then this guy made a video like, it was my birthday and Theo pushed me. Wah. And so a bunch of people were like, you deserved it. No, Theo's an asshole. So they basically, by having Theo push this guy, they have thousands of videos out there with millions of people giving their opinion because of this. This guy asks him if he'll pop balloons with him on his birthday. And Theo pushes the dude away. And that right there was like a major headline. And so, like I said, these so-called comedians, they're purposely creating negative attention so that they can be written about, talked about. People make videos about them. Because if he just goes to a nightclub, has a good time, goes and does a decent set, well, that's nothing noteworthy enough to talk about. No writers are going to make an entire column about Theo just having a regular night and being pretty funny at his comedy special. That's not worth writing about. But him bombing or pushing a fan, oh, that grabs headlines. That generates clicks. You can have, 30, 40 different fucking channels with 1 million subs each all make a video about that same thing. And then in a 48-hour span, you have tens of millions of people talking about it. At least that's their plan. So this is how comedians are being heel wrestlers instead of actually trying to be funny. They're gaining more notoriety, getting more views, more clicks, generating more revenue by trolling their audience and being a heel comedian than actually trying to create funny bits. Sober Scalper said, man, the troops need a lovely looking girl. Definitely not Theo telling them he isn't gay. That was like the only thing they laughed at, was him saying that he didn't go there to be gay. After that, it was all downhill. Pretty painful stuff to watch and listen to.
Go after him for being a mediocre stand-up comedian. We know you're incredibly naturally funny.
I disagree with that.
You prove it on your podcast every week.
No, he does not.
Just write better bits. Work harder on making the stories flow together. Add some more punchlines in there so you don't lose the entire audience.
So you got this guy who made a video about it, and he's going to give Theo some criticism that he just needs to write funnier bits. When this dude's not trying to be funny anymore. In fact, he's doing the opposite of trying to be funny. All right, so there you go. Theo Von bombing. That's how you get attention now. You bomb your recent set. Did you hear that Theo Von bombed? Ooh, I want to go check that out. Whereas, oh, did you hear Theo Von had a decent set? And nobody wants to go watch that. It's like a proof of concept that, Logan Paul and his brother have proven that negative attention outweighs positive attention. I was thinking, like, who's the first celebrity to really popularize negative attention over positive attention? Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was the first celebrity I can think of that got a ton of negative publicity and was always in the public eye, always being talked about, always being joked about. Whenever somebody wanted to make a joke about a celebrity, Michael Jackson was the low-hanging fruit that anyone could make fun of. And there was so much to make fun of, so much to talk about. So Wacko Jacko basically set the precedent that negative attention outweighs positive attention as far as entertainment is concerned. And now in 2025, people have phones in their hands, right? Everybody's got a phone in their hand. So the art of comedy is dying out as far as stand-up comedy is concerned. How many people want to spend money to go watch stand-up comedy and pay attention to what a guy's saying on stage in hopes that he's funny? Everybody's got their phone they'd rather be looking at. A lot of crowds, their attention spans are small. They'd rather be looking at something on their phone or or talking amongst their friends or whatever. So the amount of people who will sit there and shut up and even listen to a comedian anymore are far and few. So the comedians have figured this out. These planted comedians, anyway. They figured out that comedy is basically dead as far as stand-up is concerned anyway. So they've changed their format, changed their way of doing business to where instead they troll their audience to generate clicks and outrage. And then everybody across the board who's talking about it can piggyback on it and make money on it. So that's why we're seeing heel comedians now rather than comedians working their hardest to be the funniest. There you go. So both those guys, Bill Burr and Theo Vaughn, if you look up their names, you're going to find recent negative shit, which is dominating the headlines for those two guys. And there's other comedians too that are doing the heel comic thing. Here, I'll show you guys another quick example of this guy who was on the Chappelle Show, who's now a heel comic, who's infamous now for being not funny and pissing people off. You guys might recognize him from the Chappelle Show.
Everybody wants to do this business like, you know what? I'm going to do a show. I'm going to do 2 seconds. Everybody's going to know me. You can't outboo me. You can't outboo me. You can't outboo me. I don't give a fuck about a boo. I'm telling you real shit. You can't outboo me. I don't give a fuck. What I'm saying is, listen, I'm not mad.
It's getting so much worse.
Listen, it ain't so much worse. Let me explain something to you. Y'all can boo me. Listen.
I'm rich, biatch. So yeah, this dude, Donnell, I think his name is, he was on the Chappelle Show. And so they have these like comedy podcasts where they have all these different comedians get together because all of them have smaller audiences. So they like pool these comedians together to try and pool their audiences together. And so they designate one of the comedians to be the bad guy, the heel comic. And so it gives them a guy to roast and it gives the audience someone to boo. So this entire show right here is only getting attention because this black comedian here acted like an asshole and people booed. So otherwise they wouldn't even be talking about it. They wouldn't even make a video about this. I wouldn't even be showing it. But this one comic went out of his way to be a prick to the audience. And then he became the center of attention. So much so that it proves my point. These guys are being heel comedians on purpose, stealing a page out of the WWE handbook, creating a heel so that everybody can then make fun of the heel, heckle the heel, and the audience gets in on the act and they boo and heckle the heel.
Listen, you know what? Listen, let me tell you something. I'll say this. I'm not going to leave like that. I'm going to answer your question.
All right, so comedian Donnell Rawlings threw another temper tantrum recently when
Donnell Rawlings.
And he was judging this roast battle where pretty much everybody turned on him. It was rough. Like doing the show was such a bad idea for him. I mean, he's so bad at handling getting roasted.
It's a roast battle, right? So everybody's there to like make fun of each other, but they have the one bad guy that everybody can bag on. And then the audience can get involved. And then when the audience all turns on the one guy, now it's like a everyone versus the one bad guy comedian. And it works. And this guy making the video, he can't put 2 and 2 together that Donnell is purposely being the bad guy comedian. So he's like, oh, it was such a bad idea for him to show up. No, it was a good idea because now he's the center of attention. He's the star of this video.
Like he's basically been spiraling ever since he was roasted by a random comedian on Kill Tony and stormed off, which was almost 4 years ago.
He's been spiraling for 4 years. No, he's been playing a heel comedian for 4 years. And he knows whenever anyone brings up him spiraling, he can just be all belligerent and start getting pissed off and cussing at the audience. and then he'll go viral for crashing out and spiraling out, right?
But he still hasn't gotten over it. He's always trying to convince people that he didn't actually walk off, which isn't really doing him any favors at this point, because every time he talks about it, he just makes it even more embarrassing for himself. He went on Rogan's podcast and started coping over it, which
went on Rogan's podcast, the most popular podcast in the world, and started coping over it. Now, he's talking about the thing that is making him famous. Oh, did you hear about this Donnell comedian from the Chappelle Show? Oh, he's crashing out and he's spiraling out of control. Yeah, now that's part of his character, right? So a heel wrestler who gets boos, that's worth money. The same as a babyface wrestler getting cheers. What you don't want is for people to sit there and not cheer or boo. If people sit there and they don't cheer and they don't boo, that's the worst. So you want people to either boo or cheer. So in this case, you have the bad guy comedian for everybody to boo. And then the good guy comedians can be like, oh, Donnell, blah, blah. They can make fun of them in front of the audience. And then they can get laughs and sympathy from the audience. Donnell, chill out, man. Quit being such a dick, Donnell. Donnell, bro, chill out, man. You're drunk and you're obnoxious, right? So you can put him in his place, gain sympathy from the crowd, give the crowd a fucking target to boo.
Rogan called him out on. Then he had Tony on his podcast and he was trying to convince him that he had a dinner to go to. That's why he left. But Tony didn't buy it for a second. It probably just made things worse. It would have been better off if he just left. It would have saved him some embarrassment because at that point, everyone was waiting to happen, especially because right in the beginning, Jeff Ross.
I love you, Donnell.
Shit!
We gotta do 5 roast battles.
Shit!
5 roast battles.
Trump Cut USA, ain't that nigga
That was very mean.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yo, that was me. You're a narcissist.
You're the one dressed like a dental assistant, not me.
Teddy, don't laugh. You my nigga. Don't laugh, son. Damn. Jeff, you know what?
Let him bring out the first battle.
Okay, Jeff, you know
Hang
what?
out. We got time.
We're gonna talk later.
All right. Donnell's dressed like a s'mores.
See, he's the whipping boy for everybody to make fun of. And he knows it, so he plays along with it, and he be's belligerent and shitty on purpose to make himself a nice, big, easy target for all the other comics to roast. If you don't have him there doing that, and you have a bunch of good guy comics roasting each other for fun, well, that's lame. But if you have the one bad guy comic there for everybody to focus their roasting attention, even the crowd gets to get on the act. Well, of course, this comedy show is going to make more money. More people are going to talk about it. And then YouTubers are going to make videos about it, like this guy. Meanwhile, I'm sitting back like, dude, comedy is so fucked. These guys are basically stealing professional wrestlers' routines and adding it to their fucking show. Right? It's not even regular stand-up. No, it's a roast battle where you have a fucking pretend bad guy comic be the star of the show for being shitty on purpose.
That's not right.
The first battle. What's the first battle?
Oh my God, us versus Donnell. Shit.
No.
Turning hiding spots.
Donnell's a legend in this room. Come on, Brian.
I know.
Let's go.
So it was a rough start, and it only went downhill from there. They did the first roast battle, and the comedians were not doing very good. So Jeff, he made a joke about it. Then Donnell just started going off about how shitty the comedians are and how they're never going to make it. But he wasn't even trying to be funny about it. He's basically just like, these guys.
He wasn't even trying to be funny, and he was being shitty on purpose. Gee, almost like he's being a heel comedian on purpose, specifically to create outrage in the room so that the other comedians can roast him and then they look like good guys. You give the crowd somebody to fucking boo, which crowds love somebody to hate.
Suck, let's move on. Which is,
they'd rather have somebody to hate than somebody to love.
Is honestly probably what the crowd was thinking about him, because he just really makes any jokes or anything. It just sounds arrogant in the audience.
No, was I finished, sir?
Shit, I'm starting to miss Donnell.
Yo, you said you waste your time on me. You should tell a joke.
Yes, sir. All right. Yes, sir. Sorry.
Jeff, Can we just stop?
Sorry. That bad?
None of these
That
niggas
bad?
gonna make it. Can we go to the next round?
Give him some.
I ain't trying to, I'm not
Hold
trying
on.
to be. Yo, Jeff, I know you got a format.
Yeah.
I know you have a format.
Yeah.
They don't have a chance. I know you. Yo,
Good
shut
news.
the f- up.
They're
Jeff,
so
please.
bad. Donnell's about to commit suicide.
No.
What are you doing? Are you
I'm
jumping?
just saying, Jeff, I love you, nigga. You got a great thing going on. They're not gonna make it. Get them out of here.
All right, get him out of
Hell
here.
yeah.
Yo, get them out of here.
This has been great. Last joke.
Yo, get the f out of here.
One more.
Jeff, beat it,
All right.
Jeff. Don't believe in these niggas, Jeff.
Yeah, so obvious he's trying to be the bad guy comedian. See, so all these guys who do like the roasts and stuff, that's now they're doing this fake ass shit, right? It's not even real stand-up comedy. So they're trying to figure out new ways to like do comedy because regular stand-up comedy is dead. So now they got shit like that going on. It's like it's kind of got elements of stand-up comedy, but also like some fake reality TV show shit as well. All right. So I can show you one more example to prove my point of a couple supposedly famous comedians that have gotten so bad they lost their entire audience and quit doing their podcast. Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer. You guys ever hear of Tom Segura or Bert Kreischer? Apparently they did a podcast that was doing well, but then it perpetually got shitty and they became so out of touch with their fan base that they canceled their own show because the views fell off. So here's another example of guys who at one point people thought were funny, and now nobody thinks they're funny anymore. All right, this will be the last example.
Well, she is way too young to have a baby.
Mm-hmm.
And then she started breastfeeding. I was like, nah, she's not too old. And I watched her breastfeed.
Oh my God. I'm glad you only saved that for me. Nobody else will
I
find
put
out.
sunglasses on. I was like, she's not too old. She's got to be at least 20, right? 25, 26.
How was that session? Was it cool?
It was weird. It was weird because everyone watched her breastfeed. Like when you breastfeed like that, everyone watches.
All right, so Bert Kreischer continues to get more depraved each podcast, and it's getting bad. I mean, if you remember last time I talked about Bert, he was contemplating becoming an OnlyFans pimp after being inspired by Jack Doherty. You know, this 50-year-old man with a wife and 2 daughters got inspired by Jack Doherty to try to start pimping out girls on OnlyFans. That's
Wanted to become a 50-year-old OF pimp.
really what Bert is up to now. And Tom, he's told.
I mean, that's like such a douchey thing. It's like you're begging people to hate you if you're going to be that fucking douchey. Further proves my point. These guys are not trying to be genuinely funny for their audience. They're just trying to create negative attention and outrage because that's what generates clicks and revenue. But apparently these guys weren't good enough at doing it, so their podcast failed.
Totally down with it. You know, he's just thinking about the money. And it sounds like Bert's going to do all the work for him. Like, he's really excited about this. But Tom might need to tell him to chill a little bit because he gets a little too excited. He gets really worked up on this podcast. I mean, he started this episode watching VR porn, and then he mentions how he wants a sex robot that looks like a comedian he knows.
Watches VR prawn, right? So he's promoting a virtual prawn. Talks about wanting a sex robot, right? And that's part of the agenda to get men to mess with robots rather than actual females. So it's funny how he promotes those two things, almost like he was told to promote that shit.
And then he admits he watched a girl breastfeed the other day. And I bet you'd defend this by saying he's scouting for talent or he's brainstorming or something. Like, that's how far gone he is.
Should we make one and fucking bring it? Let's make
it feels
two.
like. Oh, okay.
Would it be creepy if we made them and we made them look like people we know?
Yeah, that'd be super creepy.
And you're like, Sarah Tiana, come over to my house. I want you to meet my robot chick. And she's like, wow. And go, look, it's got a southern accent and everything. She's like,
that's really cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
But wait, why is she pregnant? And I was like, I don't know. I liked her better when she was pregnant. You just hung out with her, but you look at her naked.
Yeah, buddy. I think we're different there.
Yeah, so I wonder what his wife and Tom's wife think of their new business endeavor of finding girls to pimp out. I mean, I think Bert's wife is already pissed because.
And of course, look, they push alcohol, right? These are just scumbag douches right here. And you know what? In this video, they start talking about this Segura guy. He used to be relatable to fans from what he was saying, and people used to like his self-deprecating bits. But then he became super famous and super rich in the comedy world, and then moved into this mansion, and then he became unrelatable, and then all his comedy started to suck donkey balls. See, so some of these guys apparently used to relate to their fans, but now even their biggest fans can't relate to them anymore. So it's like they're purposely becoming insufferable, nasty douches, like they're being told, hey, we want you to sabotage your own comedy career, and we'll give you X amount of money. We'll give you an unlimited amount of resources for you to sabotage your own comedy career. And the more you sabotage yourself, the more we'll promote you. The more famous and rich you'll be, the more unfunny you are.
He tried to talk one of his employees into it. He said everyone freaked out about that, but he didn't let that stop him. And now him and Tom are really doing this. They started going through submissions on their podcast. And first they found someone who Bert tried to compliment by saying she doesn't look like someone they just picked up at a gas station.
I have an existing OnlyFans that didn't make it due to.
Yeah, some of these guys, you know, like this Segura guy, apparently he lives in a mansion and has made millions on his comedy. But his podcast here is just total shit. So, yeah, man, it makes me appreciate being the funniest guy, noticing that these fuckers are total hacks. But the sad thing is, these are the guys who are generating the clicks and making the money. They're the ones getting paid. But that's how it goes when you're in the big club. You're one of the mainstream comics. Sober Scalper said that was as funny as terminal illness. Jake, you are making us appreciate you even more. Make you guys appreciate my ass even more by showing you a bunch of unfunny hacks. That'll teach you guys who the king of comedy is. All right.
The lack of following, wanted to keep my identity hidden at the time. I would love the opportunity to work with you guys. I would be open to revamping my current OF or starting fresh. I do have some experience with modeling in my early 20s.
Bottle. So of course when Bert sees that, he just loses it. You know, this is like his dream girl. And then they figure out there's a video of her doing it, and Bert's like, we got to find that. So I'd imagine Bert's wife is thrilled that he found such a talented prospect he can manage. I mean, I feel like at some point she's got to step in and be like, listen, this is just too far. But also it's possible maybe she's just checked out and doesn't even care to try to restrain him anymore. So he might just be completely off the rails now.
Yeah, that's a really good one. Let's see who else.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, baby. Yeah. Wow, way to bring it. Way to fucking bring it.
Some of them just get it, dude.
God, some of them just fucking get it.
Yeah, so there's another example of two hacks who just canceled their show because their own fan base decided that they weren't funny anymore. Oh. And those guys are called comics, right? Those guys will get paid to do shows and people will pay to go watch those guys. Meanwhile, why is my question? I've paid to see some famous comedians. A long time ago, I saw Dana Carvey perform, and he did such a great job, made me laugh several times that I went and watched him again. The second time, he wasn't as funny, but he was still entertaining. So I've seen Dana Carvey perform twice. It was many years ago, so I haven't paid to go see a comic in, God, a long time, probably 2016, 15 was the last time I paid to see comedy. So it's been like 10 years since I've paid to see a comic. But I can remember what a good comedy show was like. Like Dana Carvey put on a solid, like hour-long performance, did lots of different voices, made lots of different people in the crowd laugh from different age groups, younger people and older people. So I've also seen back when Louis C.K. was blowing up, I saw Louis C.K. perform, and he did a decent job. And that's a comedian I used to like, and then he just stopped being funny. There was this show I remember watching Louis C.K. where he made the 666 hand sign, and then he went into this really gross bit about naughty business with children, basically, and why it must be pretty good to some people because there's guys out there that love to do it so much. So there must be something about naughty business with kids that must be good. He basically did a really gross joke that went on way too long about how being with kids must be good for some people. It was almost like Louis was told, hey, we want you to do this joke about the bedroom business with children, basically. And just before he went into the bit, he did a 666 hand sign. And it was that day I stopped liking Louis. And I noticed from that day on, he stopped being funny and he fell out of the public eye. So Louis C.K. for like 2 years was on this like meteoric rise. He became like the top comic in the world. And he was like doing these tours and selling out everywhere he went. So I did see Louis C.K. when he was at the top, the tippity top of his career, blowing up, doing his TV show and whatnot. And it was just before he changed. So another comic I saw many years ago, probably like 20 years ago, I saw Ron White perform once. And he was just okay. Only made me laugh like a couple times. But this was back before I even had my YouTube channel, before I figured out how funny I am, before I ever even made my first video. So we're talking like 20 years ago, back when the blue collar comedy tour shit was still relevant, right? Larry the Cable Guy and Bill Engvall and Foxworthy and Ron White all like did a tour together, and they all became super duper famous. So there was like a time where the Redneck Comedy Tour was gigantic. And so Ron White was doing a show nearby where I lived. And so me and my girlfriend went and checked him out, and it was just okay. So I've seen some big name comedians. Now, all the shows I did watch were better than Theo Vaughn's fucking bomb performance that we watched tonight. Supremacist Leader said, I'm sure you've covered this already, but Charlie fake. I don't want to say those words. I don't want to get like my stream flagged for talking about, for saying that, what you have written there. But yeah, the Kirk shit, we'll call it, gets more fake every day. Miss Kirk also was wearing Masonic rings. So more and more evidence comes out to support the fact, prove the fact that it was a theatrical performance, right? And there was a guy who made a video showing proof that it was a theatrical performance, and his video got taken down, which was the reason why I stayed away from making a video about it being a theatrical performance, because I was pretty sure it would get taken down. Meanwhile, shills like Jimmy Dore can push all sorts of conspiracy theories that are total bullshit. Total rabbit holes to nowhere, right? Time wasting fucking bullshit. Jimmy Dore will be like, oh, there's a camera gun. Oh, and this guy over here with the sunglasses, he had a palm gun. Oh, and this guy over here makes a hand sign, and then the microphone exploded. I'm not pushing these theories. I'm just talking about the theories because I find them captivating. Fucking Jimmy Dore with 1.6 million subscribers will tell you he's not pushing theories. And then he goes on and pushes a bunch of fucking theories after saying that he's not doing that. I find these theories to be captivating. That's why I'm talking about it. Hey, did you guys see this guy with the sunglasses? He might have had a palm gun. Right. So these channels that don't get their videos taken down, they get hundreds of thousands of views pushing these theories. Meanwhile, a smaller channel, The News is Fake 4, put a few clips together, which shows evidence suggesting that it was a theatrical performance. And then just as his video starts to pick up some views and get attention on the algorithm, he gets taken down for a strike. Thank you very much, Supremacist Leader. Lemming in a shiny metal box says, Sir Jake, I was inspired by the comedy of Robin Williams, Stephen Wright, and the Ben Stiller Show, Mr. Show, Tenacious D universe. Kept me entertained throughout the 90s. Great show, and keep the comedic gold flowing. The 90s was the big hurrah, I guess we'll call it, for comedy. As far as like comedy movies in the 90s were huge. People were still going to the theater to watch comedy movies. And then some movies were so funny that you'd watch them several times, and then kids would repeat the lines from the movie at school. So when I was a kid, people would repeat lines from American Pie. They would repeat lines from Wayne's World. They would repeat lines from Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, right? So Adam Sandler, when he was in Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore, and he was first becoming famous, all the kids at school, not all of them, but a lot of the kids at school would repeat shit from the movie. And so that's something you don't see anymore. You don't see like a funny movie that everybody watches and then people repeat shit from the movie. But kids used to do that in the 90s a lot. And then also in the 90s, there was sketch comedy that was still funny. Like SNL was actually funny sometimes. Kids in the Hall was somewhat funny. In Living Color had some funny sketches. So all of the sketch comedy shows, even Mad TV, all of them had some funny skits. Not all of the skits were funny. If you go back and watch those shows, not all of it is good. There's some stupid shit. But the funniest shit that those sketch comedy shows ever did came out of the 90s for sure. So if you look at it across the board, movies were funnier, sketch comedy was funnier. Nowadays, there's no such thing as a funny sketch comedy show that everyone watches. Nobody cares about SNL anymore. So the stand-up comics back in the day, you had like movie stars who were stand-up comedians, like Robin Williams. He was like a TV star, movie star, and a stand-up comic. And then Eddie Murphy did Delirious and Raw. Those were huge comedy specials. So Eddie Murphy was this movie star / stand-up comedian who was gigantic, right? And you can remember classic bits from these comedians as well, right? So I can remember, Jim Carrey doing Fire Marshal Bill, for instance, or pretending to be Vanilla Ice on In Living Color. I can vividly remember Jim Carrey making me laugh by doing funny shit. And I can remember the bits even 30 years later. Over 30 years later, I can still remember Fire Marshal Bill. Let me tell you a little something, right? So anybody old enough to remember In Living Color can probably still remember Fire Marshal Bill. Let me tell you a little something, right? So what has Theo Von done in his life that people are going to remember 30 years from now, right? I can't think of one thing that Theo Von's ever done that's noteworthy enough, worth remembering, that's funny in any way, shape, or form. Whereas fucking Jim Carrey did the best impression of Vanilla Ice that's ever been done. Back when Vanilla Ice was huge and had the big hair and was selling 20 million albums, Jim Carrey did the best, funniest impression mocking Vanilla Ice that has ever been done. And that's something I'll always remember, right? So I can remember shit from Jim Carrey over 30 fucking years ago. I can't think of a single thing Theo Von has ever done. That's the difference between comedy back then and comedy now. Even in the 80s, there were gigantic comedians, right? In the 80s, you had Gallagher, and late 80s, early 90s, Andrew Dice Clay, huge comedians that were doing huge arenas and stuff, and they had their own style, their own shtick. Stephen Wright, he was doing one-liners. Stephen Wright was like the precursor to Mitch Hedberg, the king of the one-liners in my book. All right. So yeah, comedy back in the day, back in the 90s and the 80s, was still real. And the people at the tip top, even the ones in the big club, actually had real talent and were still saying funny stuff, right? So George Carlin, he was in the big club. He did movies, Hollywood movies. He did commercials. You know, he did a 1-800-COLLECT commercial, if I remember correctly. So definitely someone who was in the big club, but he still had the talent to memorize a big, long monologue and deliver it just perfectly. And he could mix truth and comedy together in his monologue and then retell it perfectly on camera, right? Whereas a fucking hack, you know, like Theo Vaughn, he can't even fucking remember his jokes. He needs to go backstage and ask his producer what his punchlines are. That would be unheard of back in the 80s and 90s. There's no such thing as a famous comic who forgot their punchlines and walked off stage and came back out several times. All right. And Supremacist Leader just bought a membership. Awesome. Awesome. Thanks, man. All right, guys. I pretty much talked about all I wanted to talk about tonight, and talking about how much these new age comedians suck balls is it's starting to bore me talking about them. So before you guys get bored, I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. Thank you guys for hanging out with me on another Truther Tuesday night. We'll try and do another stream this weekend. I'll even try and do like a members only stream really soon. Possibly this weekend, I'll set up a members only stream. So thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. Extra big thanks to all of you who sent the donations. The super chat love was off the chain tonight. I really, really appreciate it. You guys are the best audience a YouTuber could ever have. I am the luckiest YouTuber alive to have the best audience here to support me for all these years. I may not have the biggest audience, but the quality of my audience is second to none. Thank you, Kreger. All right, guys. Have a great night. I'll catch you guys in the next video or the next live stream. If you haven't watched my top 10 most scripted plays of week 6, I just uploaded that video earlier today. So check that out if you haven't yet. And yeah, I'll try and do a stream like Friday night or Saturday, and we'll reconvene again. And of course, I'll be back again next Tuesday as well. So good night. Sleep tight. Don't let them bed bugs bite. Peace out. Much love. Bye-bye. Love you guys.